Hello, happy you're here. Happy New Year. It's 2025. As if that's a thing. Let's get you guys settled in here. I hope you had a great time ringing in the new year. I was asleep. I was asleep at like 11:30, and I don't just mean like regular sleep, like I was zonked out asleep, like waking the dead. Like it was not gonna happen. Dave came and he was like, Happy New Year, and I was like, huh? Not for me this year, just not in the cards, just so exhausted. Like I've said, I've been a little burnt out and stressed and anxious. Is that done happening? No. No, it's not. But, you know, what you gonna do? But what I really wanted to talk to you about are books. I was so excited. I have been looking forward all year to seeing my storygraph book and reading wrap up. Like I was looking forward to it the whole time. I meticulously put in all of the pages I read, like when I read them. Like I won't even be done yet. I just want to like see how far into a book I am. So I will like type it in, type it in, type it in. So then like I get to see like the charts and the pie graphs, and I just love it. I love it so much. And this is my first year using it to be able to see the wrap up, because I've been getting back into reading over the last 2 years, I want to say now. So I was really excited. We're gonna talk a little bit of stats. So full disclosure, I have already looked at this so much. I was not gonna wait for you. I wasn't waiting for anyone. Like the second that I thought about opening it, I opened it. So congratulations on a great reading year. Thank you so much. I've read 35 books. 35 books, and I went back through. I didn't realize that there was a setting in Storygraph where you could update your audiobook, and you can either count it as pages or minutes listened. And I had it on pages, and I just couldn't understand how to make it work with minutes listened. And then I finally figured it out. So I read 9,834 pages and listened to 84.67 hours of audiobooks. I've been getting back into audiobooks this year. I don't think I counted them in Storygraph last year because I went back through my Audible account, because I think I listened to audiobooks in 2022 and 23, but it doesn't give, I wasn't able to find like a finished date or when I listened to them, so hey ho, not important. My first book of the year was Mosaics and Magic from the Vampire Knitting Club. This book is like, which one is it? The 14th book in that series. They're all the same. After you get past like 4 or 5, it's just the same book. So I read that, and then the last book was Tom Felton's Beyond the Wand, which I finished listening to on the 31st. I listened to a big chunk of that book doing a organization project to get ready for the new year. My mood map it's like so mid. It's just like we're chilling. There might be dark books and light books. I'm just kind of sitting in the middle. And then you can tell like for the fall, it dips down a little bit because I want to read more like scary books or like a bit darker for like the season. And then December just shot way up. I read so many fluff books for December that the mood just skyrocketed. You traversed landscapes of the heart, set off on thrilling quests, and indulged in cheerful amusements. The narratives flowed at a comfortable and engaging tempo. And this is why I was so excited to switch it over to minutes listen, because if we just take that off, you can kind of see that there wasn't a lot of audiobook listening going on, and you can really see that I've gotten into reading and also listening at the tail end of this year. Oh my gosh, so itchy. And that listening on December, way up there. I think I listened to 6 audiobooks in December. But I think I had 4 months this year where I didn't finish a book. So for this year, my goal is to do 50 books, which I think it'll be doable, especially if I'm staying on this audiobook track that I'm currently on. I think it'll be pretty good. I also want to read a few chunky books this year as well, so I think listening to audiobooks while I'm getting stuff done or going to the gym and stuff like that, I think will help me reach that 50 mark and be able to read some thick books this year. Yep, I did meet my goal. My goal this year was 25 books. And then the genres. This is where for 2025, I really want to read more genres. I just want to read a wider variety of books. Like I've already downloaded or bought with credits on Audible some history books and saved some like more information books on Spotify as well, as far as like listening goes. I think romance and fantasy are going to still always be at the top. We got contemporary, memoir, and mystery. Memoir I love listening to on audiobook, but I also really want to add in more literary fiction, and I kind of want to get into thriller a bit more this year. I think I want to try to pick up some Frida McFadden this year because I have a few friends who really enjoy that, or her writing. My longest book of the year, 703 pages, A Court of Wings and Ruin. I think I read another book that was 700. So I want to read a few more big books. Once I finish the ACOTAR series, I have requested the 5th book through my library, so I'm just waiting for that to come in, and then I'll start that pretty soon. I think I want to read Fourth Wing since the 3rd book is coming out or has already come out this month, so I can get the trilogy done with the early part of this year. And my shortest book was Mosaics and Magic again. My average length, 358 pages, which I think is pretty decent. And it says on here it took 26 days to finish, and that's because there's a few audiobooks that I had started and then I left them and didn't touch them for months, which you will see in a minute. But like now this app has a pause feature, so like I've been trying to read that Hocus Pocus book, and I just, did I bring it up here? There it is, this book. I've been trying to read this book since the end of August, and I just have not really been able to get through it, so I think I'm gonna put it on pause until next spooky season. So I've paused it, so now it's not going to say that it took me 365 days to read this book. Like I'm not actively trying to read this book. I'm now going to put it down for a big length of time, so now that won't go towards the average day to finish a book, which I'm super excited about. The Winter People took me the least amount of time to read. That was 2 days, and I think it was within 36 hours. I think of all my books this year, that book was the most fun to read. It's not my highest rated, but it was the most fun to read, obviously, because it took me 2 days. It also helps when you pick a time that you can dedicate a lot to reading. It just so happened to all line up. And here, the most time spent was trying to listen to Paris the Memoir, 163 days. Is that accurate? No, because I had a big months-long gap in between where I put the book down and was not engaging with it. Now, I guess the question would be, when do you call it a DNF? Probably when you don't have any intention of picking it back up again, I would say. The authors I read the most from, Sarah J. Maas, obviously, because I've been reading the ACOTAR series, so I've read 4 of those. Lori Gilmore and Iris Beaglehole for 3 each. My average rating was 3.64. I don't know if that means that I'm like harsh or I just read a lot of fluffy books. I have 2 5-star reads. I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy, which like I listen to, and Jeanette also reads it, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I thought about that book for so long, which is why I got a 5-star. And The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo I also gave a 5-star because it was so much fun to read. And again, I think this was one of the first kind of like literary fiction books that I've really gotten into, and it was just such a fun read. I really love Taylor Jenkins Reid's writing style, so there will be more of her this year as well. Here's a little chart of how I'm kind of scoring things. As you can tell, I've scored all the way down to a 1 and all the way up to a 5. I think I need to get a bit more of a grip on how I want to rate things, but these are obviously all rated for immediately finishing the book, my initial first reactions on getting that piece done. Who am I to argue with my past self? February was the highest rated month with 4.25, and then December was the lowest with a 3.23, which is so funny because again, I was reading a lot of fluff, and sometimes you just get bad fluff. That's how it goes. But I did the most reading in December, with 2,250 pages. The most shelved book is Evelyn Hugo, which totally makes sense. It totally took off, I think, right before I got my hands on it, as far as like went viral for people reading it. So that's a lot of users to have read that. And then my least shelved book, The Crone of Mystic Sparks. I'm so excited. The next book of this series, The Myrtlewood Crones. So that was the 4th book. The 5th one comes out at the end of this month, and I'm super excited to get to that. And then my highest rated book, A Court of Mist and Fury, which makes sense. Also another big viral one. I also rated it pretty high. Like, my immediate gut reaction after I finished it, I had such fun time reading this book, and it's like 626 pages. I read 21 new authors this year, which is great because 2023 I read from like maybe 4 different authors, tops. Like, I did not read a lot of variety last year. I read very long, easy to read series. Reckless Girls is one. Actually, that's one I own. Oops. That's right here. I didn't own a lot of these books, but I do plan to not buy any new books this year with money. If I acquire them for free through a free library, or like somewhere giving books out, like sometimes the actual library will remove things from their shelves and you can keep books that way. I might come across some books that way, but I'm not spending money on books this year. 21 of the books I read were part of a series. I like that it's showing One Dark Window, duology. That was also such a fun read, and like, what an interesting magic system. Such an interesting magic system. And I did not do any rereads. I would like to do some rereads eventually, just not right now. And I mean like reread like The Book Thief, which is my all-time favorite book, but I picked it up when I was 17, I think was the first time I read The Book Thief, and then I might have read it again in my early 20s, and now I'd like to revisit it. I think it'll still hold up because I have read a chapter from it and bawled my eyes out, so we'll be fine. I didn't put any books down, no DNFs, which I should have. By this book right here, by the Spirit of the Season, I should have DNF'd, but I didn't. You read 7 books from your own shelf this year. Let's open that up. The 100, I tried to annotate that. Should not have started with a fiction book to try to annotate. Winter People, The X-Hex, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, Spirit of the Season, Secrets in Summer, and Reckless Girls. I've also gone through all of these, which I love, on Storygraph, and I just did today, was I added tags, the yellow one right there, tags onto the books to say where I bought the book from. So I know like the origin of the book. So the 100 I bought from Bull Moose, Winter People I bought from Goodwill, I bought the X-Hex from Bull Moose, I bought the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes from Walmart, and I think the rest were Bull Moose, which I think is going to be super fun moving forward. Unfortunately, I don't remember where a lot of these books are from, but sometimes, like this one I just got recently, sometimes Bull Moose will have like a little sticker on it, like that, so I'll know that it's from Bull Moose. I haven't read this for a very long time, but I enjoyed this book, by the way. I was up 52% from last year as far as reading, and I was up 58% as far as number of pages read, which like those would compare. I feel like the only reason the pages are a little bit bigger is because I was reading a bit bigger books this year than I did last year. And I love this bit. Can I have both again? There we go. My mood map, which we remember from before, this one, and then my friends' mood maps. They start out a lot happier on the year, it looks like. But again, I love that this little dip between July to October happens for both lines, where it's just like, ooh, let's like dip into the fall season and feelings. My pie chart of my general reading experience: emotional, tense, reflective, and then gets into lighthearted, adventurous, inspiring, and dark. I think most of the books I read were fast-paced, which makes sense. Components of my highest rated reads. It's interesting to see that the books that I rate really high are sad, reflective, and dark. Like, apparently it makes me feel something. I'm like, I must rate this high. Medium pace, nonfiction, which makes a lot of sense. I do a lot of nonfiction. LGBTQIA+, and I think that's a lot of Evelyn Hugo's pulling that up. Dystopian, literary, which is so interesting. And then I love a well-developed character. Yes, I do. And then my favorite part, I love this, where I can just scroll and look at the books I read this year. I love it so much. It's so cute. I love this. It gives me that vibes of the people that use like the covers of the books and they make like tiny little book replicas and they put them into like a shadow box or Christmas ornament, which is so cute. I love this. And I want to read more. And this part, like seeing them all, because obviously I read digital. I got this year for Christmas, which I'm super excited about. She's so cute. I just love it. It's been great. Currently reading a very smutty book that I need to take a break from. Like I need an emotional pause from this book. I'm like 79% of the way through, but I need an emotional pause from this. And I've also gotten Fourth Wing on here, so this is what I'm going to be reading Fourth Wing on. So I love the photo collage of all of the books I read because I consume books through so many different media, and I don't keep all of them obviously because half of the physical copies that I read are from the library, so I don't have them, but it's nice to like see them, which is great. I kind of want to make like a mini bookshelf or like one of those shadow boxes. I saw a creator that has like a template for it to kind of help you make your own like little mini books. Be so cute. So anyway, I'm gonna take a break from my Kindle to read Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. Not just because I need a break, but because this is due back to the library super soon. So I have 5 days to read this. So I'm gonna take a break from this and I'll put the break in on Storygraph as well, so that way I can read this. And then we're gonna wait for the last book of ACOTAR to come in the library. I'm super excited to read Gabrielle Zevin. I loved her book Elsewhere. I read it in high school, like maybe sophomore year. It is still a book, like the concept of the book is the afterlife, and it was such like an interesting take and thought on the afterlife that sometimes I still think about that book. So I'm excited to read Gabrielle Zevin again because it's been 20 years since I've read anything by her. I was also very tempted when I saw Elsewhere in Goodwill to buy it. I was very, very tempted because I want to build up some middle grade books and high school books for my kids, so that way they're already here. You know what we need this year? You know what's on my list? Shelves. I need bookshelves this year. So that's a goal of mine, is to actually organize the books I have, not add any more to the collection. So my mom is here, which means Dave and I typically go out to dinner. So that's what we are about to do. What, sweetheart? After we have dinner, we are going to go to Home Depot. We're gonna start working on getting some shelves for my office.
I cleaned it in here.
Yes, sir. There's so many things on the seat.
Well, because they were in the footwell, and I had to vacuum the footwell, and I got rid of all the trash.
Here are 70 keys. Oh my gosh. We've left dinner, and now we're here at the Home Depot. This is not the right section, as you could probably tell. Will I get shelves tonight in this video? Yes.
We should go get a cart though, if that's what you want, because that's a bit bigger than what I was thinking.
Okay, did you want to do any remeasuring before we get going? We're gonna put shelves on here so the books can live, and I can actually like display my knickknacks because I actually love a little knickknack. Gotta clean, gotta tidy, gotta move stuff. Oh yeah, we are meaning business. Get it level. Okay guys, look. We have shelving. We got shelves. Big old shelves. I thought maybe I would fill the shelves today and put some stuff on there, but I'm feeling differently now. But look, how much better is it going to be with like stuff behind me? Amazing. I'm so excited to also go through my books and decide what books I even want to keep, what I would like to get rid of. And obviously some of these books that I have in my collection at my feet at the moment are middle grade or younger, and we're working to put more shelves out in our hall, like that's being worked on at the moment. So those kinds of books will go out there. So this is more for me. This is my books. So not all of the books that were down here will move up here, but what a background. We're gonna have so much more fun right here. I'm just going to ignore everything else that's down here at the moment. I think that's it. I don't think I'm going to be able to start tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow today, but I will start it tomorrow. But this is gonna be it for this vlog. Thank you guys so much for hanging out during the book vlog. I hope you'll stick around, and I will see you in the next one.